The Greek island of Crete is the envy of Europe right now, not because of its beautiful beaches and delicious food, but because it has gone since the end of July without a single illegal migrant boat arrival. According to The Sun, the sharp decline in new illegal immigrant arrivals came after the Greek government implemented hardline policies that suspended all new asylum claims from North Africa and vowed to arrest anyone entering illegally. Greece's immigration minister spoke on the issue in Copenhagen last month with a group of EU ministers, and it seems his stern words followed through into action.
The return of illegal migrants should be our first priority. Our message must be clear. If you enter Europe illegally or your asylum application is rejected, you have no right to stay in Europe and you must go back.
Deputy Mayor of Crete, Eleni Zovodaki, told The Sun, "Our new policy is for illegal people to be arrested and they are not allowed to apply for asylum." A turning point came on July 6 when 2,000 migrants landed and there were so many boats from Libya we had to find a response. The majority, about 900 at the peak, were held in this building. Locals were stressed and afraid. We are a tourist island, and of course there were concerns about what would happen if the asylum seekers continued to come. And Greece's foreign minister sees this as more than just stopping illegal immigrants from entering Greece. These measures are stopping illegal immigrants from entering Europe more broadly.
Αυτό που συμβαίνει αυτή τη στιγμή από τη Βόρεια Αφρική και τη Λιβύη δεν είναι ομαλή μεταναστευτική ροή, είναι μια επιχείρηση εισβολής προς την Ευρώπη.
Greece's government crackdown on illegals comes after Donald Trump was very vocal in his criticism of Europe's handling of illegal immigration during his recent trip to the UK.
Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And they've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it, and you can't do that. This is a magnificent part of the world and you cannot ruin it.
And it's not only Donald Trump calling out Europe. Europeans have taken to the streets over the past few weeks and months, particularly in the UK, to protest this very issue.
Well, it's not only Donald Trump who's calling it out, it's ordinary citizens in these countries.
Yes.
In Britain, there has been a huge controversy this week because in a small town, they had been putting in migrants who'd come across the channel into these accommodation centers and giving them food, shelter, hot meals, welfare, legal aid, legal representation, while there's 1 million people waiting for housing in Britain. Britons say, well, enough of this, but it gets worse because in this one particular town, one of them, a migrant from Ethiopia, allegedly committed a sexual assault on a teenage girl there 8 days after he'd arrived in the country. Well, I mean, fine, allegedly, but whatever. This has gotten the locals furious. And the police and the media have decided they're going to portray anybody who protests about this as being right-wing, far-right, Nazis, all of that. And it got so bad that the British police bust in and gave police escorts to left-wing protesters to counter-protest against the locals who are furious that their town is being used as a dumping ground for people who have come across the channel. Now, we saw that vision the other week of, some French cops, putting knives into the whaler boats that were going to take them across to deflate them. But you know what? I think that we're getting past time for more kinetic solutions to this here.
But whilst Trump and concerned citizens are speaking out, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has been criticised for his confused messaging on the issue.
Joining me now is the author of groundbreaking works, international bestsellers, including The Strange Death of Europe, The Madness of Crowds, The War on the West, and his latest on democracies and death cults. Douglas Murray, let's start in the UK, where Keir Starmer is talking tough. He is going to smash the gangs. He's going to stop the illegal immigration crisis. We've heard this talk from the PM before. How serious is this policy and how likely is it to succeed?
Well, it's very unlikely to succeed at the moment. He seems to be trumpeting a deal he's done with French President Emmanuel Macron for a so-called one-in, one-out policy. It's not clear to me or to the British public, I think, why, if hundreds of people are managing to pour in every day to the UK, you should trumpet a sort of occasionally you'll get one person back out policy. But the main thing is this the obsession that the government has with smashing the gangs. It's very typical politicking, this. It suggests that the problem of illegal migration is simply that of the people smuggling gangs. And that's very useful for a left-wing government like Labour, because it presents it as if there's no harm done by the illegal migrant. It is merely the criminal gangs who bring them into the country who are the problem, as if these are like press gangs of the Royal Navy in the 18th century, sort of rushing around the streets, gathering migrants from the north of France and forcing them onto boats to begin a new life in the UK. That isn't the case. The people smuggling gangs are part of the problem, but they're not themselves the problem. They're just one part of it. The problem is that the government wants to put no onus on the people who knowingly are illegally entering the UK. And that's because they want to always cling to this idea that the illegal migrant is always an asylum seeker, somebody with a legitimate claim to be breaking into the country. And that simply isn't the case. It's just politicking on their part and a desire to never blame the people who are actually the ones coming into the country breaking the law.